you know, I'm probably not going to be able to wave it around for like the next 6 months or so. Which is weird because I'm starting to get used to waving it around again. Man, right when I was starting to get used to waving it around again, I'm gonna have to put it to the side for the next 6 months. Well, aside from content that I plan on making in the interim. But Bruins fans, time to hug it out, because that is a 4-1 victory over the Pittsburgh Penguins. Welcome back down into the den, everybody. And yes, I know. Well, not really keen on winning right now. But I think that I can convince you that it isn't the worst thing to win right now. You guys are tanking. You shouldn't be winning. Now, I said that I would get to that, didn't I, Macklin? Yeah, but you aren't supposed to win when you're tanking. Dude, I think I've been locked in the mindset of tanking for so long that you're forgetting what it's like to actually win. Because it's the only solace that I have. I can't get enjoyment out of winning because this team never wins. Oh, don't cry. Don't cry, Macklin. It's gonna be okay. Mark my words. You got Celebrini, you got Smith. You're gonna get either Schaefer or Misa in this one. You got a good future ahead of you. You really mean it? For sure. For sure. He can be a pain in the ass sometimes, but I love him. Anyway, this game wasn't on Nesson, but we did get to listen to a Nesson alum for the entire game. Alex Faust, honestly, I would have given the job to him over Judd Surratt. And maybe that was just a personal choice that Faust made to take the TNT job. I don't blame him. I'm not going to blame him. I'm not going to blame anybody for taking any job. At some point, you need to put food on the table. And even though it ain't kosher for Passover, we still put pasta on the table for this one. I don't think that it's a stretch to say that David Pastrnak is not just going to come out of his career as one of the best European players to ever set foot on the ice, but also I could see him being in people's conversations for the top 20 best ever. And I know that top 20 is a little bit less of a threshold to break than top 10. But at the same time, do you know how many people have played in the NHL? Not even the internet knows. It was kind of a dead puck era at the start of it all. And so there's no comprehensive list of the amount of players that have played in the NHL. But to suggest that David Pastrnak is in the top 20, with top 20 of all time, you're talking about making an actual NHL roster of those players. Assuming that your top 20 includes just 12 forwards, 6 defensemen, and 2 goalies. Hell of a fourth line you got on in that roster of 20. And Biz was talking about this on the broadcast before the game, and I know that it's Biz, but at the same time, it's still a funny stat. This is also the first year that the Bruins and the Red Wings have both failed to make the playoffs since 1967. Also known as the last year that the Toronto Maple Leafs won the Stanley Cup.
I walk into the arena, they're chanting 67. I walk out of there and I have even less to say.
Now, you're free to interpret that however you damn well please. But considering that Toronto's first round matchup is against Ottawa, I know that Linus Ullmark is basically their kryptonite. But at the same time, you kind of got to give Toronto some benefit of the doubt. I should stop before I get on a whole ass tangent about Toronto. This game, Bruins played out of their minds. We were up to 25 shots on goal before the second period was... Not just before the second period was over. Before halfway through the game. Before 30 minutes had passed in this game. We were already at 25 shots. Where previously, we would be unable to hit 25 shots by the end of the game. Hell, there would be times where we couldn't hit 25 shots at the end of 2 games combined. So there's that. I don't think that this is indicative of the Bruins having a massive amount of upward momentum. It's Pittsburgh. And Pittsburgh sucks. Because Crosby, Malkin, and Letang are all locked into contracts well beyond their expiration date. Letang is going to be playing until he's 40. You gotta be kidding me. The dude's had multiple strokes. He's lost his dad. Just let the dude retire already. But in this game, the Bruins gave them all more reasons to retire. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Pasternak's playmaking has absolutely taken a step up. Far be it from Tristan Jarry to be a goalie to not give up 2 goals on the same play. It was a 2-on-1 where it's Geeky and Pasta. I forget who's in the middle of them. Geeky fires and it hits the top corner of it, but it bounces out to Pasta, and Pasta puts it on net. Jarry tries to make a move for it. He loses his footing. The puck squirts into the net and has to be dragged out. So yes, Tristan Jarry allowed 2 goals on the same play. Y'all remember when Pittsburgh cut him and I guess they brought him back? Funny how life works. All of the young guys played well in this game, except for Riley Duran. Duran was not very noticeable, but that's okay. Because Fabian Lysell and Fraser Minton both played fantastic. Minton was a little bit more of an intangibles guy. It was more so his passing, his ability to lay the body. If this organization is so hell-bent on crafting everybody in the image of Bergeron, it's going to hamstring them so hard when it comes time to actually developing a proper goal scorer like Pastrnak. But at the same time, Minton is playing really, really good two-way hockey. And this was no exception. Lysell, though, oh, Lysell, with this little squirt out to him. Pick that puck up, brother. That is your first NHL goal. And I think that it speaks to a greater discussion within this fan base as to whether or not Fabian Lysell's slow start after getting called up was indicative of him just not having it or of him needing to acclimate to the NHL speed. And I think that we can safely say that it's the latter. Lysell has been really good. The shifts that he has taken in the past several games have been phenomenal. And it feels like he just keeps getting better every step of the way. But here's the thing. I feel like it's also important to not ignore the fan base and instead just hand wave them away saying have some freaking patience. This fan base has been patient. This fan base has seen prospect after prospect get drafted and see every single player after them make their debuts sooner and become NHL stars sooner than those prospects have taken ice. And no greater example of that is Fabian Lysell. We've had to watch from 2021 to 2025 this guy just stay in the minors in Providence for day after day after day. As guys selected after him in the 2021 draft, like Ilya Fedotov, although he's a goalie, so the comparison isn't exactly the same. But Ilya Fedotov, Logan Stankoven, frickin' Wyatt Johnston. Oh my God, Jim Nill is one hell of a drafter. Why can't we have anybody who drafts like him on this team? Oh yeah, that's right. We're the team that allowed PJ Axelson to talk us out of drafting Robert Thomas so that we can instead get Urho Vakanainen. We've seen those players come up into the league before Lysell and become superstars before Lysell. And so to tell this fan base to be patient feels like it's impossible, because with how long the development period is in this system, because our prospect development is so unbelievably borked, telling them to be patient just feels like a spit in the mouth. And so when Lysell comes up and he doesn't immediately become a freaking superstar, people are going to get pissed, even if the rest of the team is just completely awful. And I know that some people are definitely like, it doesn't matter if the rest of the team sucks. We brought you up to make this team better. I think that there's some real weight behind that assertion. But at the same time, what exactly do you want from this team in this season? Do you want them to be good, or do you want them to have a high pick? I think at this point, I'd rather they have a high pick, which leads to the implications of this game. We're at Game 1, okay? The top 3 spots in this lottery have all been locked up. At 3, it's Nashville. At 2, it's Chicago. And at number 1, it's San Jose. Woo! Yep. We gotcha. We know. You guys won in the best odds again. Have fun with your newly minted Matthew Schaefer. We're getting Misa. You guys already have so many offensive of prospects, it's time that you add some defense. Especially since, how much do you guys like Mario Ferraro again? You got a point. Exactly. So with this game, we now have a 33, 39, and 9 record with 75 points. We're in a precarious position right now, where with just one win, we could leapfrog Philadelphia and Seattle to go all the way down to 6. If Seattle loses their last game, and if Philly loses their last 2, we're in a little bit of a pickle. We have 75. Those two have 76. Philly has to lose in overtime, and so does Seattle, for us to be in any sort of interesting predicament. We might stay at 4. We might stay at 4. We might fall to 5. We might fall to 6. And no matter what, we're gonna get someone good. We're gonna get a really good center. Schaefer is pretty much your consensus number 1. So Macklin, you're getting a defenseman for Christmas this year. Misa is way too good for him to fall out of the top 3. So is Porter Martoni. So your best bets are James Hagens, Anton Frondel, and Caleb Denoyer. And honestly, you're good with any of those. I would love Hagens. I think that at 4, we're probably going to end up just getting Frondel. And if Sweeney just decides to rage quit, I could see us trading down to 8 or something like that and getting McQueen. Because Sweeney loves McQueen. But that's basically it. Notice how there wasn't much talk about the game. Because there's not much to talk about with the game. It's been a weird year. I always expected at some point I would have to do a season where we end up tanking. And I didn't expect it to be this one. I might also end up making that game like I did with the end of the season with last year, where I do it in call with some of the members of the Short Shift Podcast Discord. What up, AJ? What up, Rat? I'm going to need to make sure that OBS actually tracks my audio, because last time it was just me talking for 55 minutes with it not actually tracking my audio. So that was a really awkward video that I had to re-record by myself. Regardless, thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you guys at the end of 82. Take care.